super excited. It gives you guys plenty of time to think what you want to do. I love surprises.
Right.
Surprise parties. Surprise pregnancies. I just love surprises. Hello and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. I am Spencer Cartier.
I am Mary from William and Mary.
William and Mary, never heard of it. And this here is Frank, looking red, looking gorgeous, looking like he went to college.
He went to college. He's wearing his college, what's it called? Alumni shirt?
Alumni, yeah, he's an alumni.
Well, actually, this was an actual, you could wear it when you were a student as well.
You can wear it whenever you want, really.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say alumni on it for the people who are only listening to our show.
It also doesn't say student. You could just wear it if you're a supporter of the college. I've seen people wear Harvard sweatshirts.
Okay, so you brought up Harvard.
I did.
And
do you have something bad to say about it?
No, I'm Mary from William and Mary, and
okay.
you said you don't know who that is. William and Mary is the second oldest college in the United States.
Oh, I thought it was two people.
It is two people, but it's the College of William and Mary.
Oh,
and it's the ninth.
Is it in Maryland?
You know what? I think it's in Virginia, Maryland. But I do think it's named after an English royalty, which probably also was Maryland.
It was
okay.
King Henry,
okay,
and Queen Mary.
Okay, so this is King William and Queen Mary.
That's what I meant. I thought you said Harry, and when Harry
William
meant
and Mary.
Sally.
I was wondering. I'm like, wow, there's so much going on.
I'm thinking of Harry and Sally.
When Harry met Sally in Virginia, at college. William and Mary is the second oldest college in the United States, ninth oldest college institution in the world, which I find really funny. But
why?
I just feel like America's so young. So for us to be competing with the world on anything old is crazy to me.
Colleges, I mean,
yeah.
How old do you think college? Like schools aren't even.
Like I thought
old.
Socrates was in college.
What?
Or outside of it, at least.
No, they didn't have colleges in ancient Rome.
I thought that's where they were talking to everybody.
They were very smart.
Oh, is that where it's like the idea started? People coming together to philosophize?
I don't know. I just know like Cambridge and stuff is like crazy old.
In England.
I saw like a thing where it was
crazy
like
old England.
It was like it'll blow your mind about the same time periods, different places. And so it was like Aztec temples or Mayan temples.
Yeah.
And then Cambridge University. Like,
oh, gosh.
At the same time.
That does blow your mind.
Yeah. And it was like doing other things like that. And
right.
it was like, oh, wow.
So it's the second oldest college in the United States.
That's crazy. What's the first?
That's what I was waiting for you to ask that whole time.
Harvard?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is 1877, which is pretty old.
Yeah, I think that Harvard must be in the 1600s.
It's got to be, because even I watched Hamilton in 1776.
Oh, right. They went to Princeton.
They went to and King's College.
Okay.
Graduated from King's College.
It sounds just like him.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel. I have on 19 hats.
19 hats. We're coming. It's Holy Week.
It's Holy Week.
It's Holy Week. We have been plowing on through our Lenten podcasts, adding a hat every podcast.
Right.
And we are up to 19. This
yes.
is the last week. You will have, it'll be a big relief.
Unless I like it and I don't want to let go.
I was wondering, is it turned into a little bit of a comfort blanket?
Security.
The nice thing, it's like a weighted blanket. You have a weighted hat.
It is. Even weighted. Oh my gosh, that might be something.
It probably won't be.
It should.
It probably shouldn't.
Weighted hoods.
That would be such a strain on your poor neck.
No, it would strengthen your neck.
Oh.
It's like a weight for your hood. Listen, I have good ideas. If anyone watches this show, listen closely. Move your hat and listen to me, because the ideas I have.
Let those who have ears, let them hear.
Those who have ears, move the hat. I have good ideas. Now, I just don't act on them.
Okay.
So if you just follow around as a Socrates, a Verocrates, and listen to me. The reason I say that is because a weighted hat. There, that's for starters.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I'm going to say that. But also, I just want to say, someone asked in the comments, is it uncomfortable? Is it heavy? Is it hot? It is.
All of the above.
I can't say I can't say too hot because I don't mind being
Overheated.
I don't mind being overheated. It is heavy though. Interestingly, I don't get headaches normally.
Yeah.
And I'm not that person. Actually, I am. I don't even like hairbands, come to think of it. Anyway, it is pretty uncomfortable, but I think I would do it on a lesser scale. Like, this is too much.
Oh, like around like the 5-day mark.
Yeah, that was okay.
You were kind of enjoying.
19
might be overdoing it. Everything in moderation, they say.
19's overdoing it.
I think hats are probably the same.
There's a guy, you should look him up for the YouTube show. There's a guy, is he in the Guinness Book of Records or something? But he has I think he isn't the winner of the largest wrap, and he does wear it every day. It takes him hours and hours and hours to put it on.
Yeah, how does he reach the top? Or does it just go wide?
Look it up.
I will.
I don't know. Okay, so back to me having great ideas.
Yes.
I told you this idea. I might have been in the podcast if people go back in their early ones. Do you remember I told you start a business where you go around sanitizing people's trash cans?
Yes, I do.
The other day I was driving down the road
and you saw a trash can sanitizer?
We'll come to your house and we'll sanitize your outdoor, your recycling bins, the ones you pull to the curb.
Man,
could have been you.
It could have been me.
Now the market's saturated. I saw one sign.
Yeah, it's too late. we missed our end.
I hose my cans out. I see nobody else doing this because things spill in there. People throw in an old milkshake or a bag will open. So I rinse it out. And other people don't. And then when you don't, after time, it gets really, really bad.
Yeah, you can imagine. Just trash all the time.
Right. But it's also hard. I mean, in the old days, you just had your can. Dump your wastebasket. But now the cans are so big and heavy that a machine has to pick it up.
Yeah.
So your older neighbors or even your young neighbors without muscles, they can't dump the can themselves to rinse it out.
Yeah.
So therefore,
or even if you have muscles and you're not old, just it's another
gross.
task.
It's gross.
Yeah, but it's a task. You know, like people get their lawns.
That's true. That's true. So that's just two things now: weighted hats and trash can sanitizing. If you listen, you will.
Now we'd have to go back and count up all of the questionable ideas, though.
That comes with the territory.
Diamonds in the rough.
That comes with the territory.
It's fair. But guys, it is April 12th. We are just in spring. Spring is here.
Yeah.
It is. When's Taurus season start?
Taurus is April, May, end of April, beginning of May. So we need to get into like the 21st.
We're getting there. It's almost what day is it?
The 12th.
The 12th. Oh, 12th. My golly gosh. Yesterday, I love 11s. April 11th is my second favorite 11.
Of your days, yeah.
And that is because it is 1 month before my birthday. No big deal, guys. Don't get alarmed. We are T-minus 29 days away from my birthday.
You'll finally be able to vote.
Yes. I'll finally be able to go to the casino.
Yeah.
So super excited. It gives you guys plenty of time to think what you want to do. I love surprises.
Right.
Surprise parties. Surprise pregnancies. I just love surprises.
Yeah.
So get ready for that. Besides that,
it's April 12th. We talked about Instagram all last week.
We gotta still talk about Instagram.
We do, but April 12th, and we're 10 people away from having 1,200 followers on Instagram. So I think we should have a little drive to push us over.
We are T-minus 10 followers away from getting 1,200 followers on Instagram, and
on the 12th.
On the 12th. And there's more of a reason for you to go to Instagram besides just boosting our follow count, and that is the Bible draft. Wait, it's not the draft. I keep saying the draft.
I'm ready to say bracket.
Well, that's what you should be saying. The draft is when we picked our books.
Right.
And now we are in the Bible bracket.
Yeah, hashtag Bible bracket.
April Madness.
I think you're the only person on the hashtag.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no more Bible brackets. But we are pitting Bible books against each other, verse by verse. It's
just as Jesus wanted it.
Just as the Bible intends to be used in battle.
Yeah.
And so it's going well. I think on the grand scheme of things, I am kind of my warriors, my Bible book warriors, my Bible book bandits
are winning.
But today it looks like you are. Anyway, go to Instagram, join the fun. We're putting book to book against each other, but in the books we are sending the warriors, being the verses, to let them represent the book.
Right.
So we're still in the first round. We'll be in the first round for a while.
We're on round 11, which you should like.
Hey, round 11, my favorite number. Not really, it's 23. So go to Croak at Instagram. We have reels every day that is me reading the books, and then you can go to the stories and vote in the poll. And do that for me. Vote for Mark.
Oh, is it Mark? Yeah, today's Mark. I think there's an 11 in your Mark today, and I'm Philippians. What is it?
Philippians.
Oh, Philippines. They're the people who live in Philippines.
Yeah.
Philippines.
Which I always autocorrect anytime I'm trying to say Philippians.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Didn't you say that one time? You were seeing a guy writing. You're like, oh, he must be related to the Bible.
I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
That is Harvey. What's his name?
Weinstein.
No, Harvey. Blank Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. When he read out the name of the wrong Miss Universe woman, and when he said, I'm so sorry, I was supposed to have said Miss Philippines, but he wrote Miss Philippians.
And you're like, that's a good Christian man.
Yeah.
He has it in his autocorrect.
Right.
But guys, yeah, it's April 12th. Before we get into what today's all about, it's National Grilled Cheese Day.
Oh, I love grilled cheese.
Nice. Do you actually?
I do.
I don't.
I love grilled cheese.
I'll eat it. And like you give me a little tomato soup, I'll do it. Definitely not my go-to.
I love grilled cheese.
Okay. It's like the commercial. I love Chef.
There's a grilled cheese a place that specializes in grilled cheese in St. Augustine. I forget what it's called. It's called, I want to say Sparrows, but that's that Italian place.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Avalon to tell us even if it still exists. You know, these little niche places kind of pop up and pop back down.
Yeah, it's very hard to take over the market. But guys, it's Wednesday. It's the first podcast.
It's not August 12th. I mean, it's not April 12th. It's April 13th.
What is happening?
I didn't go to Harvard or William and Mary. I lied.
Hold on. Hey guys, it is April 13th. So forget everything.
Reset.
Forget everything we just said. It doesn't matter. You know what really did we talk about April 13th besides Grilled Cheese Day?
Right. You mean April 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Well, what I was about to say before we figured out what day it was is that it's the first podcast of the week, so we're knocking some rust off from the weekend.
I know.
Most of which being that we've said it's been the wrong day now. But who cares? Because guess what? Some people are going to be watching this episode April 12th of 2023.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
These videos,
April 14th.
It's not a Snapchat story.
It won't disappear.
It's not disappearing in 24 hours.
No.
So it could be April 12th to you. It could be November 21st and you're still watching, and that's what really matters. But anyway, guys, it is one Word Wednesday.
That we know.
I know what day of the week it is, even if I don't know what numbers,
right? Because also Chinese calendar is different. The Hebrew calendar is different. And so therefore, really, what are numbers?
And not even everyone uses the same numbers.
Yeah.
You know, Chinese characters and stuff.
And we have people in different time zones. So maybe it's already Thursday for them.
That's true. It could still be
yesterday.
It could still be April 12th.
There's alternate universes.
If you believe in multiverses, then yes. Anyway, guys, it is One Word Wednesday. What we do on One Word Wednesday is we pick a word from the dictionary. And we talk about it. We get some significance out of it. Mm-hmm. You have a apple. We're looking for the juice.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get the juice out of the words, and both metaphorically, literally, and most importantly, spiritually.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And today, we'll probably have a lot to talk about it spiritually, because we're talking about enemies. Enemies. Got a lot of enemies. Got a lot of people that are to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know all about it.
Enemies.
You
have any enemies?
Probably.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should.
When you say, do I have any enemies, are you asking me if I consider them enemies, or are you asking me if people consider me an enemy? You know, like when I go missing, that's when the police say to you, did she have any enemies?
Now, that's really interesting that you say that, because it makes me think about something that is probably the end of what we should be talking about. So, enemies, right? You have enemies. In the Bible, talks a lot about loving your enemies.
Right.
But it doesn't talk about not having enemies, does it?
I'm not sure.
It might, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
it's always saying to love
Right.
your enemies.
Yeah.
So like, does that go back to sort of this concept that we talk about where it's like, it's normal that if something frustrates you,
Mm-hmm.
and as a Christian, you shouldn't think that like, oh, like I'm feeling anger in my heart.
Right.
It's just you don't act on it, and like
Right.
you choose love over that fire inside of you. Is enemies the same way? Is it like that person? Like, is it like I shouldn't even feel this towards the person, or it's like the person got me really mad, but they look like they're in need right now.
Right.
I'm gonna help them.
Right.
I don't know. Probably both. Probably doing the latter makes the former easier. If you are loving your enemies, then soon you'll realize that you don't even have any more enemies. Who is your enemy if you love everyone?
Right.
So I want to read first just a few Bible verses about enemies,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
I would actually welcome it.
So a lot of people who don't really read the Bible, they say it's a pretty aggressive book. There might be some hatred in it.
Yes.
Especially Old Testament.
Yes.
And then even some Christians are like, whoa, the New Testament changed that.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things from the Old Testament that, and that's what I'm saying, when you read the entire thing, you're like, this has always been about love.
Right.
If anything, Jesus was putting emphasis on what
Right.
the truth was, and
Right.
not saying that's all hoopla.
Right.
So, Luke 6:27. I'm sure you've heard this before. But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. To one who strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also.
Yes.
What else do we have here? Romans. We got Paul's books. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. So now I want to go back to Old Testament. This is Proverbs.
Okay.
This was Solomon, David's son, Old Testament. Do not rejoice when your enemy fails, and let your heart be glad, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles.
Oh yeah. That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one. And so one more from Proverbs.
Okay.
When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Mm.
Now that one is interesting, and I'm going to tell you why. I think a lot of what, like the idea of like, but that's my enemy.
Yeah.
What am I going to feed them? How are they
Right.
going to learn?
Right.
And it's putting, I think, your faith in the Lord. And that's what that last one says. It's
Right.
like when a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Right.
So it's like, it's that idea
relationship's more important.
yeah, you go, what does God want me to do? That
Right.
will be more beneficial to
Right.
the peace between my enemies.
Right.
But then the question lies, it's like, in today's world, enemies come with consequences more than just, I don't really like them very much.
Meaning?
Like, I mean, there's war and there's,
Okay.
and there's, crime and
Okay.
all these things. And I don't have an answer. I have a question of,
So if you're being victimized by someone, you mean that you can't just say like, I love you. And it's like a true problem.
yeah. And if someone like I guess if we're going to define enemy, it's like, how do you care for someone, like it says, love your enemies, if they are trying to kill you,
Right.
let's say.
Right. Well, I guess it's just you do everything to be safe,
Yeah.
but you have to leave. Maybe you'd have to leave aside the emotional bitterness, and I think because we talked about that before, that it hurts you. So of course, you wouldn't welcome in someone who's hurting you in any way into your house and say,
Yeah.
sit down and I want you to spend so much time with me and I just want to love you so much. That's not being reasonable or rational.
Yeah.
But as for we kind of giggled at one that you passed that talked about wishing ill on somebody. So I know people say, okay, so that's my enemy. I'm going to let the law deal with that person, or I'm going to disassociate myself with that person. And therefore I'm being Christian because I'm not attacking him. I'm not flattening his tires, but I'm secretly
Yes.
enjoying the fact that I heard that he just got kicked out of William and
Harvard.
Mary.
Yeah. So you're talking about Proverbs 24:17. Do not rejoice when your enemy fails,
Right.
and let not you be glad when he stumbles.
Right. Because
And
I think
yeah.
people really feel they have clean hands when they do that.
Yeah, or they'll even bring up karma, and
Yeah.
they'll say he had it coming,
Right.
when really that should be
Detachment.
detachment.
Mm-hmm.
Like would Jesus laugh when the enemy stumbles? It's no.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a hard.
That's that might be with enemies especially the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because even with the idea of I'm letting God handle it, it's I think easy to be like, I'm gonna take the Christian approach.
Right.
I love you. I'm not holding on to anger with you. And then something bad happens, like, that's right.
Yeah. It's
God knows.
I know.
God knows you're bad.
I know.
And it never should be that.
No.
But it's hard, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
like
It is very hard,
I'm saying
especially.
I do it all the time. I prey on people's downfalls.
Yeah. It's really hard, especially because there's levels of enemy. You
Yeah.
can just have the enemy of somebody in school. Every time you come in, he's sitting in your chair, and you're like, they know I sit there.
Yeah.
He's my enemy. All the way, war, like you talked about.
Yeah.
That's So there's different levels. So it is really a regular Christian podcast or discussion will be love your enemy, be Jesus like, let him have the seat in class. And it doesn't address the complete challenge of loving somebody who is literally and ongoing hurting you. So I would say that mostly we're talking about not having it in your heart, not giving them so much energy in your heart for just replaying how they're victimizing you.
Yeah. And we talked about this on last Walk Through Thursday, I believe. Was that about the fire?
Yeah.
And we were talking about how fire sets off other fire.
Right.
And so in letting your hatred get the best of you is burning this flame brighter between the two of you. If you are in flame retardant,
yes,
that other flame can only last as long as they can burn.
Right.
It doesn't have that spreading factor that causes forest fires. And I feel like enemies and all this idea is kind of like, but how can you not be angry? Or real world examples. I feel like one of the best modern day real world examples of this concept is Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
Why is he like one of the biggest inspirations or a key just human being on this idea of love and modernizing a generation of people?
Right.
It was through these like Christian values of not hating the enemy. He gave people zero room, and that's what it is. It's like even at the time there was a lot of people on his side that were like, what are we doing here? Right. They want to fight with fire. We're going to fight with fire. Right. Let's go. He said, no, we're not. We are going to fight with love. And now retrospectively looking back, it's like, what can you say bad about him? You know, like what he when they went low and they were going low for hundreds of years, he went high. And peaceful protests, sit down protests, was it ugly? And I think that's a big part of this, like with this idea of turn the other cheek. It's like there's this ugly side of it of like, and get abused more. Right. And it's like, unfortunately, yes, but it's part of that by choosing love, hate can't win forever. Right. And if you hate begets hate, hatred versus hatred, that can go on forever. Right. That can be but when you choose these Christian values and you have just pure, I don't have hatred for who's persecuting me. I'm not going to stand down. Yeah. But that is that's the reason he's still in all of our textbooks today.
And just he acted safely. He was assassinated. So obviously he wasn't in a bulletproof Pope-mobile, and he wasn't, but he acted reasonably safe. Yeah. He didn't go by himself in the night and knock on people's doors, so if you do protect yourself act safe. Love your enemy does not mean you're on the front lines and you take off all your equipment and you run over and you try to hug the person.
Yeah.
You have to act safely in any situation, whether it's just a personal relationship or if you are at war. You have to act safely to protect yourself as much as you can. But we're talking about your heart and your mind and your...
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Because it brings me to another Bible story.
Okay.
David, my guy, Saul, the king at the time, who was not going to be the king of Jerusalem.
Right.
He gets mad at David, tries to kill David. David runs away. None of this is saying go to your enemies and say, hey, can I have a hug? He ran away and he hid, but never did, even when he amassed an army and they said, we can kill him.
Yes.
He said, no, I do not hate that. He has hatred towards me. I do not have hatred towards him. Up until when he died, when Saul died, the man who was out for years trying to kill him, he mourned his death.
Right.
And he said, how could this have happened?
Right.
And it's that so yeah, you're right in the sense of there is it's all from the heart.
Right.
There's the real world, and then that's the idea. It's like there's earth and then there's heaven. It's intertwined with spirituality.
Right.
Spirituality is in our soul and in our heart, and that is what should not hold on to enemies or hatred.
Right.
There's also a real world of I'm not gonna go knocking on someone's door and saying, can we have a hug?
It puts me in mind of the missionary who went to that island of the people who had no dealings with society. He did not consider them enemies, and he wanted to share the word of God. They did consider him an enemy. Yeah. He did not protect himself. He went forward with the thought of, well, no, they will love me because I am loving them. He did not keep himself in a safe place, and he did not not get the word of loving your enemy or having your enemy love you. It's can't be forced, and it also, you have to be physically smart.
Yeah, and that goes back to David. David was literally like God's boy. Yeah, and he's still. I'm not going to. Right. Saul just threw a spear at my head. I'm going to kindly see my way out. It wasn't this. Don't worry, it's all good. Right. He's like, I'm still living on earth, and there's real world consequences. Yeah. I'll never have hatred in my heart for this man.
If you have enemies, if I have enemies, I won't talk about other people, but if I have enemies, I want to protect myself if it's a threat, mentally or physically, from my enemy. But then whenever I want to like stew in my head about my enemy, that energy I just want to place somewhere else. Because also you're talking about Bible verses. Yesterday, not yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And Leviticus 1 yesterday. On the Bible bracket.
Guys, come on. Start voting on the Bible bracket, because obviously this is flawed.
Leviticus 1 and Leviticus 19, verse 18. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Yesterday, right? I'm getting confused because the Instagram is the Instagram. So many hats. Instagram is every single day. The podcast is. So I was thinking, how could it be yesterday? Because it's the Instagram. Another thing I want to say is that you mentioned talking about enemies and talking about how to treat an enemy. You talked about Martin Luther King. I want to talk about Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned because of apartheid, and the famous poem that he did not write, but he read it to himself while he was in prison, is always something that is very inspiring.
All right, well, we'll end the podcast off on this. So love your enemies.
Invictus.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horrors of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Nelson Mandela read this, but it wasn't Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, I think it's William Henley or somebody.
It's like Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
William Ernest Henley.
Yeah. So it's famous before and after and always will be, but it is, don't let the enemy, any enemy, you are the captain of your soul.
You're the captain of your soul. Yeah, don't let other people change your soul. That's our podcast. Come back tomorrow for Walk Through Thursday. Maybe it'll be about enemies. I don't know.
And I'll have on 20 hats.
20 hats. Good luck.
Thanks.
Peace.